Hello, welcome to Southwestern Living. This video is the Q&A that I posted about for the 4,000 subscribers. I just wanted to say thank you. So I asked on the community tab for any questions you may have for a Q&A. There's one or two questions in here that I'm going to do a separate video for, so they will come out tomorrow and the next day. Alright, so without further ado, here we go. I just wanted to say thank you so much for those that ask questions. Super helpful. You know, you always put something out like that and you're like, what if I only get one or two questions? Which has happened before, so this was fun. So I have a question from Joyful Little Arrows, and that is, have you and your daughter done any more reads? Would love to hear some book reviews. So I ended up moving our book review reads to a separate channel, and I'll leave it linked down below, but it's called And Read Another Chapter. And we haven't posted so much on there. My daughter's been really good about trying to film book wrap-ups, but the garden took so much of my time this past summer, and so pretty much the books that I was getting done were for books that I signed up to review and were on tour, so that's all on my blog. So we're trying to get back into the habit, especially now that we get into more of the winter months. It'll kind of, I think, present more opportunities to get back into that. But all of those book reviews and book related stuff is on that channel, just because it kind of got the less views here, and we ended up having we came to a point where we had more videos than I had room to post them on this channel. So again, that other channel is And Read Another Chapter, and I'll leave it linked down below. Okay, I have another one from Geraldine Lucas. She says, there are a lot of new canners out there, so you are the one I always tell them to watch. Oh my goodness, please don't. I am a newbie canner too, so the only thing that I can really recommend is just check out like the Blue Ball Canning book, because those are recipes that have been tried and true and tested, so there shouldn't be any issues with that in regards to like safety measures. That's the word I'm trying to find. There's also the National Home Preserving Canning Book website, and I'll leave that link down below. But some channels that I like to look for, because I'm very visual, so I like to see kind of how to do things. Set and Stays is probably one of the bigger ones that I watch on how to do something. 1870s Homestead, and there's one other one that I'll find and link down below for Needy Homesteader. I use those three specifically, and they will be linked down below. If you wanna learn how to do canning, that's really what I recommend. And then like the book that your canner comes with, that's another really good one to do. I am not a seasoned professional by any means. I do some rebel canning, which is not recommended. I grew up that way, but a widow now, so it's easier to just buy. You're an inspiration to others. Thank you. If they can afford the new electric 12-quart techie canner, it becomes even easier to put the jars in and forget it. The only drawback is that it's $320 on Amazon. Yes, my daughter fell in love with it. She saw these new electric canners that the Texas boys have. Our friend Embracing Our Life did a video on it that's kind of like, I think, a little bit cheaper cost one. So she shared that and I got to see that one. But at this point in my life, I was even telling my daughter, I was like, you know, I don't know if I want to put the money out for one more thing like that when I could put the money towards things like jars, shelves, ways to preserve what we already have, and then just get better at home preserving. Yes, it would be a super helpful and time management thing. I just want to I feel like those are still a little bit new, and I think I want to stick with things that are a little bit more tried and true, because I'm wired that way. And I don't know, it just seems, it almost seems to take the nostalgic away when you just put something in the canner and walk away, whereas my daughter and I, what we found out more towards the end of the summer is just all the conversations we were having as we were working together. One working on the canner, one prepping the food, and you know, kids in and out would kind of join in the conversation. So I kind of liked that aspect of it too. So yeah, multiple things to think about with that. Okay, Dorothy Kirk says, being near Amish, do you have salvage stores around and do you shop them? Yes, I have done a few videos. I haven't really been there because of how my babysitting schedule is, and it's kind of been hard to really make that a priority. And I've noticed that a lot of times my Amish salvage store in my area, when we first came here, I was really able to get a lot of great gluten-free deals, especially gluten-free bread and like our almond milk and things like that. But lately, I haven't really noticed that it's been that much of a savings going there. I think they're kind of feeling a lot of the inflation issues that we are, and if I just find the stuff on the clearance or even with coupons and certain things at the stores, I'm finding that it's one less place to stop, so it's one less, you know, thing that I spend money on. And so, and this can change. This could change next week. I could go there and be like, okay, that's it. I'm only going to do Amish salvage stores from now on. I'm saving so much money. It's just, when it's like the time I figure out something, there's a switch, and then I have to kind of go back and figure it all out again. So I live close to a large Amish settlement in Ohio. I am in a very big Amish settlement here too, and we are 6 miles from the border of Ohio, so I wonder how much overlapping there is. But yeah, we're in a pretty big one here too. There's one that I mainly know of, and I hear that there are 1 or 2 others that I personally have not gone and seen. I hear they're like off-roads and things like that. But I need somebody to show me. If you just tell me that it's off this road, pass over here, going down, which is what everybody does for directions down here. It's like, well, I can't put that in Google Maps. And what street is 500 north or 500 south or 500 east or whatever it is? What dirt road is that? There's 3 in the area, and they could all potentially be one of them. And yes, I've done this where I'm like, okay, she said the second one, I take the second one. Turned out there's one as a driveway, and I missed that, and so an hour later I end up clear to Kentucky or something. Not really, but yeah, I want somebody to show me. Then I have Embracing Your Life, who I just mentioned. When are we going to do another video again? When are we going to do another video together again? I miss you. Well, Dawn, I miss you too. But I would like to give a shout out to this channel. She is actually going to be a speaker here in Indiana on one of the Homesteading Indiana things. So please go to her channel and just give her some love and support. Like, this poor woman, every time we figure out how to get it filmed and uploaded and everything, something just gets thrown into there, and man, she could just use some love and encouragement. So yeah, please go check her out. And Missy, fall break is coming up, which may mean I don't have one kid that I have 5 days a week. Maybe this trip can happen where we can catch up again. Did I really say that out loud? Knock on wood. All right. Margaret Davis, congratulations, I love your channel. Thank you so much. You have been a great supporter and just always throwing in encouraging comments, and I just want to tell you that I appreciate you so much. Educational Roots also said congrats. Yeah, it's Natasha and I have been talking, like, we're almost neck and neck as our numbers climb, and it was kind of funny. But anyway, Natasha does a lot of great homeschool reviews, and there is a lot of great wealth of information over on her channel about different types of curriculum out there, and subscription boxes and all of that. So if you are looking for homeschool, which I know there's a question coming up here for that, make sure that you can go to her channel and check out her information and all of that. It'll be linked down below, and I think you will be pleasantly surprised. And there is the question I was looking for, and that is, how about a homeschool update? Well, sweetheart, that is going to be a separate video because, oh yeah, so that's coming. Hold on to your hats. After I get dinner going, I hope to film that one. Chantal asks, what would you do without coffee for a month? So if you guys don't know, I have a Instagram, and I do funny, I think they're funny coffee reels, basically how much coffee means to me in a real form, which is basically just short video clips. And I make fun of myself with the coffee. That's the whole purpose of these. And I've always had people know that if they want to bless me, get me coffee. But what's funny is that periodically throughout, every now and then I'll be like, you know what, I don't want coffee. And I quit drinking coffee for a month or two, or a week or two. I never know just how long it's going to be. I'm just like, I don't want coffee. And I'll drink water and I'll drink some tea. And just periodically I'm like, I don't want it. And so what would I do? I drink water. I drink tea. And when I drink it again, it's kind of like a refreshing aspect of it. My daughter and I were walking and we were trying to figure out how many times I've done this, and I legit don't know, but my love of coffee kind of is just more of something that people know me by, and I love the idea of coffee. I love the creaminess and the liquidness. I'm not a black coffee drinker. That's why I don't like almond milk in my coffee. It's not creamy. So it kind of makes for a fun aspect of me, I guess, if you will. Best or just some great parenting advice. Just when you think you figured it all out, you're going to get slapped up the head and flipped upside down and have to start all over again. Probably the one that I love the most is actually something my mother told me. And it was, be consistent. Whatever you do, be consistent. But along with that is, she told me that as busy as my life seemed in the younger years, that it was going to get even more, I'm trying to figure out the exact words because it wasn't busy, but time consuming in the later years when they became adults and they just want to talk. And when you're a young mom and you've got a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old crying for dinner, and a 1-year-old and a baby wanting it like right now, and fractions are kind of looming in the distance, and beginning homeschool, and you're just thinking, what do you mean it's going to get busier than this? It's less chaotic because then you have helpers, and the teen years are great. They can help you with that. But it does get busier. I can't explain it with science, but the downtime that you have when everybody goes to bed at 7:30 is different. Because 7:30 or 8:30, it's 8:30 for us. 8:30 when the younger ones go to bed, the older ones kind of come in, they kind of meander in, and they just want to talk. They want to talk without little ones nearby, and sometimes they just sit there, and you're just sitting there, and you're doing your thing, and you're waiting for like 20, 30 minutes, and finally they'll ask a question, and then it's 11 o'clock at night or 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, okay, that's it, I'm done, good night, we gotta go to bed. And then you got to be up and you got to do all the stuff. And I think you don't have that downtime that you did when they were all little and in bed by 8:30 and you just had a few hours to go. My mind still has to work and have these conversations and think about how to help them in whatever ways they're doing. So I guess just be prepared for that, and then being open to allowing them to have that time. Because I honestly, if my mom hadn't prepared me for that, I probably would have been like, well, we can talk tomorrow. It's bedtime, you need to get to bed. And I think I would have missed out on those opportunities that, yes, sometimes I take advantage of it, like, oh, we can be up. But for the most part, I think it's more just they want that time with you, and they want to figure out what is bothering them and kind of bounce those ideas off of them. So I don't know if that's what you were looking for, but I would just say that, just being open to staying up later and letting them kind of work it out, or having that quality time that's just you and them. And I think it may look different with 2 kids versus 5 kids, different ages. But at some point, you will know and read your kids enough to know something's bothering them, they want to talk, and kind of being in tune with that. So, Weeping Willow Homestead said, if you were gifted $10,000, how would you use it? I'm so boring. My first immediate thought is put it on the house. Get that mortgage paid off, work it down, whittle it down, put it on the house. That is my first immediate thought. Pondering, thinking a little bit more about it, I would actually probably go get this tooth removed. I have a rotted tooth in my mouth. I had 2 root canals done and they both have failed. So I had one pulled back here, and then I have one that will forever look like a hillbilly woman here. I'd probably get it pulled. My insurance only allows 4 teeth worked on at a time, and I've met that quota for this year. We have pretty rotten teeth right here. And I'd probably just get it pulled, get that done, taken care of, because how I worked it is this side was worked on so that I could heal, and it's been 4 months, I believe, since I had it done, and I still have a hard time chewing, and I still have a lot of sensitivity when I chew on the side, but I'm trying to work it up, because once this gets pulled, I can only rely on this side to chew, and that's actually been most of my entire adulthood with my teeth, is just I can only work one side or the other, because I had the root canal in here, and I had the root canal here, and sensitivity, and so much fun. So I would like to just get this pulled, taken care of. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm not going to do a bridge. I'm not going to do, what is the one where they just implant with the screw? I'm not going to do anything of that. I'm just like, it's done. It's over with. It's pulled. We're just going to work with what we've got. So I would probably take care of that, because it's getting sensitive. It's getting pretty sensitive. I don't know. Do you ever just get the idea of like, so with tax return we get that money back, but it's always just put into savings and then used as needed for things around the house. So if I was gifted $10,000, my immediately mind goes to the practical side of things. I'm trying to think of, okay, let's make this a little more fun. What would I do for fun? And I'm not a fun person. Actually, I do know what I would do with that money. I do. After I took care of my teeth, there should be plenty left over. I would probably actually use that to go visit family back in California. Fly back, rent a vehicle, go visit the family, especially my husband's parents. They are getting up there in years, and I'm not sure how much longer we have with them. And it would just be nice to go and put that time and effort into them, and then not also be stressed at how we're going to come home after a 2-week vacation, because that would take 2 weeks by the time you do all that. And just visit them, just be with them, and do all of that. So there you go. There's the answer to that question. How do you ensure, why can't I say that word? How do you ensure that each of your kids gets some quality attention? So this is a fun question, because I feel like a lot of people really focus in on this, and they don't just do it with parenting. They do it kind of like with dating your spouse. Like, you need to have that one-on-one time with your spouse, because when the kids leave, then you won't know one another, and that's when divorce happens. And I just think it's so interesting. It's like, I never dated my spouse before we got married. We just hung out, sat. He worked, he did work, but when he came over, there's 9 of us kids running around. There's my parents. It's 1,100 square feet house. Like, he did life with us, and that's We spent 2.5 years courting. We call it courting because we didn't go anywhere, so we didn't really date. We did paper routes together. Like, we did life together. We did my life together, and we chatted, and we would stay up until the wee hours in the morning talking about politics and no sugar and just all these crazy things that we still do today. I don't need to go out with my husband to know him, to see him. And we do life together. So now we're in the journey of parenthood, and kind of the thing that we're working through now is doing this together and being a part of that. And it's kind of the same thing with parenting and children and like the one-on-one. It's like, you know what, we're all a family. We're all together. If there needs to be time when I spend time with you, then okay. Like, for example, I now have teens that are going to be 14 and 15. And one of the things that has transitioned in the past few years of me being a mom to teens is they like the one-on-one time when everybody's in bed and they can just have mom and they can talk about things and they can work through things. And there have been a lot of conversations of just curling up on the couch or sitting at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee, yes, just before we go to bed. But there's a lot of that, and there's a lot of, like, my one son, I notice he likes to bake, so we bake together. There's a lot of my one daughter, she just likes to walk with me or just sit on the couch and cuddle with me. I don't specifically say, okay, it is 9:45, you get 15 minutes of my time, let's go, we're going to spend 15 minutes, what do you want to do? It's more of an organic way of I'm making dinner, and maybe one son is washing dishes and we're listening to something, and that leads to conversations, or we're at the dinner table and one child is dealing with something and we'll talk and we'll all be a part of it. The one-on-one time doesn't necessarily happen every single day with every single child. It's kind of like what I was saying, it's more of an organic way, because I tried to do that. I tried to do that whole make sure that they're getting enough of your time every single day, and I followed that book to the T, and it was a miserable 6 months. It really was, because sometimes, and if they're my kid, me and my husband, Johnny, please don't do that. If they are me and my husband's kids, they need time to think on something, they need time to mull it over, they need time to ponder it, and then they'll come back and talk to me about it. So on that, we'll do this together, sometimes they're just not in the mood. And then it was kind of this frustration of, well, I didn't get it in. Well, how are we going to grow? You grow with, they learn from the time that they're young to respect you, and that my mom did that very well, and really pushed that into my heart, and that is, you are not their buddy, you are not their best friend, you are their parent. And in that, you grow into respecting your parents, and then you value their opinion, and then you grow into a relationship like what I have with my mom, and that is a very close relationship. I can trust her. She is still one of the most positive, wonderful women in my life. She's amazing. And it's because she had that defining line of, this is my job to train you up. And then there was a transition stage when in that teen years of, now we're talking, and now I'm respecting you more and valuing your opinion. I think you don't do that so much as a kid, but there's a shift, there's a change, and you'll know it when you get to it. Not sure I can adequately say that. So this is okay. I am very different when it comes to this. Stephanie Barsick says, how do you do it all? I have one kid, a 2-year-old boy, and I struggle to get a day's worth of stuff in. First of all, you are in a season where you are that child's playmate. Okay, when you've got two kids, they kind of play together, and then you can do more things because they're entertaining each other. When it's just one, you are that playmate. Even with working at learning to be on your own, be okay to be on your own, it's still a work in process, especially at 2 years old. And it's transitioning from him not taking as many naps, as a toddler, as a baby, you have, your morning nap and your afternoon nap. Well, at 2, you don't really have those both naps. So now you've got a full day with him, and he needs supervision. When my older two, they are 13 months apart, and we were in a small home, 770 square home, and they were with me in everything. So, if I was cooking and cleaning and doing all this stuff, they were there. And they had responsibilities to do. So I could hand them some spatulas and say, go put them in the drawer. I could, we're folding laundry. I could say, okay, you're going to take care of the socks matching. I mean, a 2-year-old can match. If they can play a matching game, they can play the sock game. So they would match socks. They would fold certain things. I did a lot of hanging up laundry, so I would have them hand me pieces that I would hang up. We did a lot of outdoor time. And my expectations for everything that I did was a lot smaller. So I didn't necessarily have all of the things that I do now. I didn't babysit when it was just them. I didn't have all these extra kids. Some of the things that I did then were, simple things like I did have a job. I did have a small part-time job. I was thinking about this the other week, and I forgot about it. My mom would watch the kids 2 or 3 times a week for an hour or 2. I think 2 was usually the top amount of time that I could eke in. But I went to a warehouse and I cleaned the warehouse. So I restocked the shelves, I swept the floors, I dusted the stuff, and I had forgotten about that. And then I could help with the packaging. So I didn't package the stuff, but I helped make sure like all the packaging was replenished and things like that. And it gave me aspect of, okay, if I lose these 2 hours, and it's more likely 3, because by the time you drop the kids off and you get across town and then you do your work and you get the kids and you get home, I had 3 hours of the day that I didn't have. So I really thought about how that would affect my entire day. So the laundry was started so that when I got home I could hang it up. The stuff was laid out for dinner or pulled out for dinner so that I could just make it when we got home. And again, I don't know, there's just a lot less to do in my mind with or there was a lot less stuff that I did with the little ones than I do now with all of the children. So I have 5 children, but I have helpers. My youngest one is 6, unless I have the little one. Like right now, my 9-year-old loves playing with him, so she's playing with him right now while I film this. So the little one that I have, the 10-month-old that I babysit, she's having some time with him while I do this. And if she needs me, then I stop the camera, I go help, and I come back and I do what I need to do. So I have helpers. Whereas in that time period, I still had my sisters, I still had some help that I know not a lot of people have. But I also had a lot less that I was doing. I was keeping the house well. I was utilizing nap time a lot. And I'm trying to think of some of the other things that I really did a lot then, but we had very simple meals, repetitive simple meals. So I think that's what it is. You're looking at me in a life situation where things are a lot different for me now. Again, I have kids that are older and we have helpers, and so I have a lot that's on my plate. But I didn't have all the stuff on my plate when I was dealing with a dealing with a 2-year-old. And then a lot of that is just lowering that expectation. So a load of laundry, again, something you can start in the morning and then do a switch at lunch, and then after, you know, lunchtime, it's your time. 4 o'clock has always been our, we're going to clean up the house, Daddy's going to be home. So that would be something that I would do the laundry with and them. With less kids, we just had less stuff around. I only had a basket of toys. Whatever you fit in that basket, that's what you had. You put it away. We did a lot of outside time. A lot of outside time means not a lot of mess happening inside. I don't know what your plate looks like, but I can only assume, I can only base it off of what my plate looked like at the time. And I didn't have a full plate. Yeah, I went to bed really tired. I went to bed exhausted. I mean, taking care of kids and home is a full-time job, but there's less expectations. I hope that helps. I don't know. And then the last little one is joyful little arrows with a bunch of hearts, and I just wanted to acknowledge that and say thank you so much for that. So that's going to be this part of the Q&A, and I'm homeschooling one up in the next few days. And I just want to say thank you so much to everybody for being a part of this, and just your love and support, your emails, your gifts, your kindness. I could go on and on and on, but I won't. So just another thank you, and I will see you tomorrow with the rest of the story. Adios.